Okay, so welcome to this class, and for today's video, like I said in the last one, we're gonna be looking at Bootstrap, right? So I just want to take it as slow and detailed as I can, so and just to give you everything you can use and just make use of well and stuff, So this is it here, right? We're looking at Bootstrap for today, and right here is just the last stuffs I did. CodePen. Yeah, we're back on CodePen. I used Komodo for the last video, right? But we'll be using CodePen for this because I've actually got to practice Bootstrap using Komodo CodePen a lot of times, so yeah, we're using this. So I'll just be trying to make it as understandable as possible for you, because depending on how you want it, you might get to use Bootstrap a lot, or just to an extent when you're actually building your project, your website and stuff. You use Bootstrap in a lot of things. You can use it in your web application, not just website. So the first thing, I'll just be giving you kind of an introduction to Bootstrap, right? So as an introduction, you might just want to know the meaning of Bootstrap, right? What it means, and we can just go to Google search right here, right, and just see what they said. So yeah, it is Bootstrap is a free and open source CSS framework directed at responsive, mobile first and front-end web development. It contains CSS and JavaScript based design template for typography, right, forms, buttons, navigation and other interface components. Yeah, so that's just the Google definition for that. But what it just means is that Bootstrap is a kind of library that you can use you can use the predefined templates to actually make your code easier, or more like build stuff faster, build your web development component faster. Yeah, so that's just what Bootstrap does. They are predefined templates. Meaning they already have those stuff, and you just need to integrate it into your website for you to be able to get it right. So yeah, that's what it should be. But a lot of websites use Bootstrap these days, because after all, it's easy and it's open source. So what open source means is that a particular library is free. Everybody can come on and just use the code, the scripts, and the documentation. Everything is just free for all. That's the meaning of open source. So now for you to use Bootstrap, you just need to understand a few things. So I'll be giving you some of those things now, and it just means that when you're actually using Bootstrap, you need to understand that you don't just have to add everything up inside your website. If not, it should actually become too complicated for you to understand what's happening over time. You can't just take all the stuff from Bootstrap to build your website, because it gets to a point where you want to add some of your your custom CSS, right? This one's here, right? Why is it not drawing? You're not drawing, that guy isn't drawing. So some of your custom CSS, you might want to add them, right? And if you just keep on using Bootstrap, there will be no way for you to do that. And so it turns out you have to actually learn Bootstrap to an extent, for you to be able to do those stuffs. And it isn't drawing for me, but sure, I'll just be giving you the way for you to understand Bootstrap entirely, and coordinate how you want to, the amount of Bootstrap to add to your website, where you want to add it, and where you want to use your normal custom CSS, right? Because it's best to just do it that way, so you don't just overload your website with Bootstrap, and then sometimes it can just be hard to load. Take a little bit of time to load, right? Because we're actually using a library now. We are importing that library from somewhere else into our own website, so it has to take a time, a few minutes to just seconds to load up. So you now know that Bootstrap does take a few seconds to load up, because you're bringing in an external library and just integrating it into your website. You know all those now, and so yeah, you actually need to just know how to integrate Bootstrap. You know the ways for you to use it. You know you gotta use it somewhere, and how do you do that? I'll just be showing you. You know this stuff we have here, and you can see how they are. Once we use Bootstrap on this page here, right? It will actually become more beautiful than this. You know we'll be using Bootstrap now. That's the best way for you to learn stuff, for you to practice with it. You know so we'll be doing that now, and just see how the stuff looks like. I'll be showing you everything on the process, how to use Bootstrap for navigation bar, forms, you know how to also maybe use CSS to custom it up a bit, you know, to use some of your what you want and stuff like that. So let's just look at how to integrate Bootstrap now. You know so I have Bootstrap here. For you to integrate Bootstrap, perhaps you have your web server running, you have your hosting server, you know, where you keep your website files, and you actually get to stay on the internet. That's what they call hosting server. You know every website needs that and stuff. You know so you want to keep that. There's two ways for you to integrate Bootstrap. You can actually go to this their website, right? That's quick Bootstrap, or Bootstrap rather, or just Bootstrap CDN. You know that's what they are called. You can go here and you can use this way, which a lot of people use to just integrate Bootstrap, and that's just copying and pasting the code. You know so it turns out that you can use Bootstrap by just copying this code, you know, and putting it right in your website. So these three code we have here, right? We have the complete CSS, we have the complete JavaScript, and we have the complete JavaScript bundle. So we would need the three of them, right? So let's just see. Did they add something? Because when I was doing mine, I don't think I imported all this. I guess I just took HTML, right? You don't need these ones. I don't think you need POG and this guy here. So you just need HTML, right? And I should just be able to copy it like this, right? Copy. I copied this, and I'm just going to keep it in my code pen. So turns out that where you keep Bootstrap is in your header. You know, well, your head tag, not header. You know, there's something called header, and it's different. So keep Bootstrap in your head tag, and I will just show you some stuff, and you can just keep it here. You know, so I can just keep that here, and so I have Bootstrap HTML right in CodePen, so I can go ahead and just keep in just close this up, keep in perhaps my JavaScript, and I need it for HTML, so I'm going to be doing that. So just HTML copied, right? And I should also keep that, if I'm not wrong. I guess I need to keep that also. So here, right now, CodePen is blank because what I just kept is not something for you to interpret, so I can save that also. But I'm just going to do something now, but for now let me check this last part and see what's all about. So this is JavaScript bundle, and HTML the stack part. Okay, copy. So like I told you, one of those videos, that most time when you keep your script tag, this is the script tag here, which is for JavaScript and, you know, jQuery, those kind of stuff, it's best for you to keep it at the last part of the body, you know, so it doesn't slow down your page load, right? You know, and where's my body? So I got no body, so I'm just going to do something though, you know. So I guess here. So I just need to just remove this, you know. Wow. Open. So so I'm just trying to keep that body, right? So I can be able to include my script tag somewhere there. Okay. I guess I still have my call. Okay, so yeah, we just kept the script tag right here and at the bottom of the page, and I guess I should also just copy this out. We don't want it to be there because of um, stuff, to just cause the page not to load. But it should not affect code pen. But for you, when you're just doing that, just make sure you don't keep it right inside the head tag, because it should affect the page load. So now we have kind of integrated Bootstrap. You just have to do that as easy as that. Just keep those the two scripts and that one CSS file, right? So the next thing is for us to start using the Bootstrap template, right? So yeah, this one right here is link tag. You can find, look, I have one link tag and I have the second link tag, so it means that this is just the CSS, CSS Bootstrap, how to style those elements. That's what I'm actually using now, because I just kept it in. And when you're having to use Bootstrap, and you want to use your custom CSS also, there's something you need to do, and that thing is just for you to keep your link tag, your external link, underneath this one, so that it can override some of the CSS, the styling, right? You're actually giving the elements you'll be using soon, so you have to keep it underneath this so it can override it. That's just the way HTML works. You keep it as low as you come, that's the one that is going to override the one on top. So this one here now is on top of this one, and this one should override it when I'm trying to style the same element. You understand? If it's for different stuff, you don't need to bother about that, but once you're trying to style the same element, you need something to override the styling that Bootstrap is originally gonna give that element. You get that, right? So that's why this one is here now, and it should just override stuff. So we already integrated those things, right? And the next thing for you to do is just go ahead and start using Bootstrap. But when you're using Bootstrap, you just need to be careful to understand how those templates, predefined template works. You just need to know there's something they call them. Is it component, right? So this Bootstrap homepage or stuff, their website, this is just for you to get the code. Then this Bootstrap is just for you to, anything you want to know on is, this is just for examples, icons, themes, blog, and this is their blog. This is the version, Bootstrap version, so 4.4, right? This their GitHub documentation, their Twitter, and just everything like that. So when you get on Bootstrap, right, the place you want to go to is this components. Anything you want to use, or most importantly, when you want to learn the stuff, you can just check for stuff right in the component, and that's what we're just looking out for: navbar, forms, tables, buttons, different kind of buttons, and yeah, let's just see what it does. So it just take a bit of time for you to actually understand Bootstrap in full. You know how to use those tags, what the set tags, the template, right? What they do. You can see the stuff, all the much stuff, right? That you can just use to get into Bootstrap. And now we have alert button is when you want to do JavaScript, right? There's a particular default alert button you can use, and Bootstrap gives you something different in a finer, or in a more beautiful format, and that this is it here. And we'll be looking at that now, but just look at this is badges, breadcrumb, buttons. You need buttons a lot. When you're just defining button, maybe a download button, and you can decide to use your custom CSS and just design it. But you can get on Bootstrap and use something that is already predefined and just bring the code, and your button shows. You don't have to do anything else. Button groups, card, carousel. You won't. I don't know if you know what carousel is, but it's more like it's something like that. Is a kind of JavaScript slider image. It automatically goes within different images that have already been added to something, and it just slides through them after a second or two and stuff. That's what carousel does. So now we are looking at the component, right? So carousel, collapse is more like collapse button. You just tap something and it goes in, it comes out and stuff. Then drop down. Well, drop down are awesome. a lot of people just need to keep drop down in their navigation bar, and you can easily use Bootstrap for that. And forms, we did forms, right? List group, nav bar. Okay, so we'll be needing this so much. And pagination or something is just for you to go from one page. If you check sometime when you're browsing, or so even on, okay, let me just show you. So that's pagination guide. You can decide to do a default for it, but you can also use Bootstrap to just do that pagination or pagination, depending on how it's actually pronounced. So this is what it is, more like next and second one and stuff. Then Bootstrap will design that stuff for you, and it will just be finer. Yeah, it will definitely be finer. And so that's how that stuff works there. And I guess we're here. So pop overs, progress, spinners, toasts, and tooltips. So that's just a bit of what Bootstrap can be doing for you. And I don't want to go as fast as possible. I'm just trying to give everything in detail so that we don't miss stuffs. But most time when I watch the video, I can just find out I missed something. I might just come back and tell you in another video. So yeah, maybe we should just go ahead and be implementing some stuffs here, and so you can actually see it clearly how this stuff works, right? So we got our code down. So the first thing we should want to do is just to keep in some navbar. So we can just go to the site for navbar and check it out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we just documentation and examples for Bootstrap powerful responsive navigation header and navbar, right? Include support for this. You don't really need all this, you don't need support. Most people just, when you just understand it, you can know how to do it. And yeah, I guess there's something I should actually explain now about Bootstrap. There's a way it works, and so maybe I should just explain that. And I saw something actually, but let me show you how the navbar looks like. It's kind of complex when you think about it, but I just want to introduce it as simple, as easy as possible. So this is just a simple navbar, and navbar for you to just link users between your different pages, right? Link between your different pages. Then users can click on the link they want to go to, right? With that hand cursor there, and go there. So right, this is what a drop down should look like. So just tap here, tap. Yeah, I'm actually tapping. It's not, I told you there's something called hover. When you hover in, it comes out. When you go out, it goes off. But this is just a tap one, because Bootstrap is actually mobile first. Mobile first just means think of mobile devices first when you're creating something, how it looks on it. And mobile devices needs click, tap or click, not hovering and hovering, because we can't hover on a mobile device, right? Yeah, so this is how a navbar looks like. So I said I should tell you something that's very important in Bootstrap, like the most important thing, how they actually founded, the main base of their system or their stuff, and up my pen is come on now. And let me just think of how to do it. So let's just say that how Bootstrap actually got to implement their library and make it quite awesome is because they decided to use something called grid system. So right, grid SYS. So yeah, grid system is what Bootstrap decided to use. So and I'll just be telling you how that thing works and how it makes it actually very, very good. No one thought about it, but that's awesome. Because when you think about grid system, you understand that that's what is actually keeping stuff and making it that good. So what grid system means is that Bootstrap divides all web pages into 12, right? 12 different sections. Maybe section should be the word, right? And I'm not sure I should get it right, It's more like 1 2 3, right? So 4 5, right? 6. Wow, it's not going to enter, right? Then it has to get tiny. 7, right? 8 9 10 10 11 12 10. Wow, this is bad. I should have just done it something else, but I just want to make you understand it very well, something like that, you know. So this is for, let me just use, damn it, I started from here. 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so 12, right? So 12. That's what they divide. They just decided to make all web pages be in this format. Just divide them into this. Now start adding those box items in sections. If you add it in section, mobile phones will actually cut to something like 6, you know, and we won't need to bother about these last ones, and we'll just have to resize, you know, depending on the screen size. We'll resize that particular component, in the sense that if it was a navbar that is actually in a PC, right, and PC is long, you know. I should have used something else. Let me just go back, right, and change this to something. So yeah, if it was in navbar and is on a PC, right, so it will definitely span the full width. And when it gets to a mobile device, people start, you know, it's quite hard, you know, you are just thinking, how should I make it smaller on a mobile screen, because they are definitely smaller. And without Bootstrap, it just takes a lot of code, not really a lot of code, just expertise for you to really know how to do that, you know. And you can do it quite well when you understand all these things. But Bootstrap just easily does this. It just resizes, you know, that thing to make it stop somewhere here, and you got your navbar that should work on a mobile device and not actually overlap, you know, stretch to the other side. And then you see some of those websites that actually have to scroll, you know, you scroll to this side to be able to see the remainder of what they're actually trying to give you, right? This is a very rough diagram, I know, but I'm just trying to explain that stuff, you know, for you to understand how that Bootstrap works very well.